behind. Parents, family, your homeland.
That chopper was no place for Chico to die.
Help me, Snake.
In this year, 2 + 2 = 5.
Hey guys, PythonSelkan here. Hope you're all doing well. Following one of our latest videos uncovering a Solid Snake tease that was going to be featured in MGS5, in today's video we'll be talking about a very interesting detail we once again discovered from an older version of MGS5 script, which was leaked after the game's 2015 release. Now, an older script does not necessarily mean it contains an entirely different plot, and may only include some differences from the final script, such as character titles, description of appearances, or the way some of the scenes are executed. But overall, these kind of scripts are not very distant from what we end up getting in the final release. Now, in terms of the story, this particular MGS5 script looks pretty close to what we've seen in the final game, and is also pretty much accurate when compared with the dialogue we've heard in the game, which seems to suggest that this could just be a specific version of MGS5's final script.
Those 9 years behind you, and return as Big Boss.
As many of you may know, MGS5 left us all in the dark for many years, and one of the game's deep subjects was the theme of 1984, with George Orwell's concept of truth and lies, and the manipulation of truth itself.
Why don't you go ask Campbell for the full story?
Colonel.
You didn't think you made it this far by yourself, did you? Who the hell are you? You could have stopped us.
Stopped you. Why would I want to do that?
Truth manipulation has always been a recurring theme in the Metal Gear series, yet this time it was heavily explored in MGS5, which had its story centered around a brainwashed protagonist, with a purpose that was never his to begin with.
God. What should I do?
Boss.
Tell me. Tell me like you used to.
Those who've been following our work over the past years may know, something we've always emphasized since 2013 is that what you see or hear is not necessarily the truth. Just because Big Boss's history was shown under Venom Snake in the art book prior release, doesn't mean Venom was really Big Boss.
Miller told me about what happened in the Caribbean 9 years ago. You do remember Miller. You'd formed a private army with him, an army with no allegiance to a nation. I remember, but...
And just because you hear other characters talking to Venom Snake as Big Boss in the cassette tapes, doesn't mean he's not brainwashed to believe he's the real Big Boss.
I've prepared a ruse of sorts. You could say I've made another snake.
Snake, do you remember the sinking of that tanker 2 years ago?
Of course.
A soldier trained in the image of Solid Snake.
Solid Snake did die, but he's also here in the shell.
Metal Gear is the kind of franchise that if we haven't seen something happen, then we can't really deny it still being in the cards.
It's okay. The other bomb, we managed it.
With MGS5, even if we see something happen, does not necessarily mean it's the truth.
Every time something goes wrong, you turn around and place the blame on something else. In denial. You simply resort to looking for another, more convenient truth in order to make yourself feel better.
Leaving behind in an instant the so-called truth you once embraced.
Should someone like that be able to decide what is truth?
Should someone like you even have the right to decide?
Let alone not seeing it happen in the first place. And one of those examples is the death of Chico, which we've always thought was kept pretty mysterious. Apart from numerous references about his sister Amanda from Peace Walker, the only truth we heard about Chico's death was the tape called Chico and Amanda, with Miller specifically stating that Chopper was no place for Chico to die, of course referring to the chopper crash from Ground Zeroes.
That chopper was no place for Chico to die. I'd like to at least think history will remember his part in the revolution. When you pick up a gun, there's always a chance you'll die for nothing.
Eyes on
Kazuhira. A message from the parasites.
As we have stated in our ultimate analysis back in 2018, Miller's words can't really be trusted, and as we had also shown with regards to this subject, the fact that the only lead we had on Chico's fate was spoken by Miller placed this character's status in a very suspicious position.
The rain was coming down just as hard the day we met Paz. I only want peace for my country. I can't believe we ever bought that cover story.
Now, we may have seen an unused appearance of a grown-up Chico in MGS5's art book, but just because this version of the character did not make it into the game, doesn't mean we won't be seeing him again. Chico as a character was never confirmed to have been scrapped from MGS5, and considering the game's theme of phantom pains, seeing an unused appearance of Chico in the art book is probably meant just to add more salt to fans' wounds, to their phantom pains. A character we lost, or at least, we thought we lost. What we'll be talking about today puts things in an intriguing new perspective, as we'll finally get to see what truly happened to Chico, from a development point of view. Getting back to the tape Chico and Amanda, all the lines during this part of the script match perfectly with the lines we heard in the final game, so even according to this version of the script, the tape still tells us Chico died from the chopper crash. However, there's a little note after Miller's suspicious line that pretty much changes everything. The note reads as follows: Chico in fact survived, having ended up in Zaire, but Miller and the others consider him dead. Later on, Amanda discovers Chico in Zaire and asks Snake to kill him. Now, it's important to keep in mind that this note was only meant for insiders behind the game's development, so by that point in the script, players were still meant to believe Chico was dead, as truly happened in the game we got to play. Sure, some might argue that the character could have been scrapped from MGS5 after this version of the script, but what's most interesting about this detail is that this note particularly states, later on, Amanda discovers Chico in Zaire and asks Snake to kill him. Now, if the decision of removing Chico came after the script, which we personally think is highly unlikely since removing an entire character wouldn't be made this far into development, considering the particular choice of words later on, you would think that we would find more lines about Chico and Amanda in this particular script, similar to the case of the unused Mission 51 Kingdom of the Flies, for which we also have lines in this script. But strangely, no. Chico and Amanda are no longer heard of in this script, and the last we heard of Amanda in MGS5 was she was still fighting for her country in Nicaragua, and there's nowhere mentioned that she ever made it to Africa. This all seems to hint at a third part of the game that is separate from all versions of MGS5 scripts. A part of the game that would feature the return of Chico and Amanda, and that goes in line with Jeff Keighley's statement of MGS5 actually having 3 parts.
And he sort of said, hey, there are going to be sort of, 3 parts to this, game.
Chico may not have been a major character, but Paz's death was of pretty great importance to the game's overall story, and we even came to terms with her phantom pain as Venom himself. On the other hand, Chico, who would have been truly affected by her death, and who was the other prisoner alongside Paz in Camp Omega, had his absence shrouded in secrecy following Ground Zeroes. It is also worth noting that Chico underwent some sort of experimentation at the hands of Skullface in Camp Omega, which was left very much unexplained, adding to the many mysteries behind the Ground Zeroes incident. Upon discovering him in Zaire, the fact that Amanda would ask Snake to kill her own brother possibly has to do with Chico's disfigured and demonic-like state, in an attempt to rid him of his existence for his own peace. And considering Quiet's scenario, it wouldn't be too far-fetched that we'd be given a choice to eliminate Chico or to bring him back to base as a buddy. After all, part of the leaked script even mentions Chico on a Walker gear, after the still-to-be officially unlocked nuclear disarmament sequence takes place. Apart from the script's note, which pretty much confirms that there's more to Chico than what Phantom Pain showed us, and considering the fact that the return of Amanda and Chico wasn't present in this script, we honestly believe we haven't seen the last of Chico Libre, and we can't wait to see where the story goes next in the continuation of the Phantom Pain.
She's dead.
Having said that, what are your thoughts on all this? Do you guys hope to see Chico and Amanda make a return in the future of the Metal Gear series? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Meanwhile, if you liked this video and enjoy all things Metal Gear, hit that like button and make sure to subscribe to our channel. We'll make sure to return the favor with content you won't find anywhere else. Thank you all for watching. Until we meet again, it's not over, not yet. PythonSelkan, out.
Listen to me, Chico. You died here today. You understand?